time, which is a good thing my brother was in the military.
Yeah, I looked in the city, I'm like, okay, I found the one.
It's on. All right. We'll call the meeting to order. Really loud.
Participate in city council meetings. This is part of how democracy works at the local level. Listening to the perspectives of subject matter experts, city residents, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before we start the meeting, let's review some of council's rules of order. These rules help us make sure our meetings are orderly and efficient, while protecting the ability of everyone to have an opportunity to speak. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your own comments until it is your turn to speak. Presenters are invited by the council to provide information during the meeting to the council. These are informational presentations only, and nothing will be voted on at the time of the presentation. Presenters are not time limited. There are 2 times when all other visitors will be able to speak to council. The first is during the visitor section of the agenda, and the second is during any public hearing regarding an agenda item. During the visitor section, anyone may speak to council about any topic, whereas the public hearings regarding specific agenda items allow you to make comments for council to consider before they make a decision on that topic. Whether you wish to speak during any public hearing or the visitor section, the following rules of order will apply. 1. Only one person should speak at a time. Be respectful of the person speaking and wait to speak until it is your turn. 2. Anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. 3. You must first state your name and provide your address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. 4. All speakers will be given 5 minutes to make their comments to the council. The mayor or council may have additional questions for speakers after this 5-minute period. 5. All comments should be addressed to the mayor and council. 6. If you have questions about existing city processes, programs, or policies, or if you need assistance from staff on any issue, please contact City Hall during normal business hours and we'll be happy to assist you or answer any questions you may have at that time. The public hearing is designed to provide the public an opportunity to provide testimony and information to the mayor and council regarding the decisions they may be considering. Keep in mind this meeting will be recorded and live streamed with video and audio. Therefore, all comments relevant to this meeting must be spoken into a microphone, otherwise video viewers will not be able to hear you. In the case of a closed session or technical difficulties, some meetings or portions of meetings may not actually be recorded or streamed. The use of cell phones during council meetings is discouraged, so please silence all devices now. Thank you for watching, and thank you for engaging with the City of Nixa. The meeting will begin shortly. Welcome to
Kelly Morris.
Here.
Matt Ogden.
Here.
Sean Lucas.
Here.
Aaron Peterson.
Here.
Darlene Graham.
Here.
Zern Vess.
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
And thanks again to council and staff and everyone who's helped out over the past year. I think it was a pretty good year, and I'm looking forward to 2024. And along with that, we have our awards and recognition for last year. We always give away 4 awards. There's the Team Player Award, Innovation Award, Customer Service Award, and the Employee of the Year Award. Those are all pretty huge for our staff, for them to get the recognition for all of the work that they do. So I'll invite up Jimmy Lyles.
All right, I'm here. Getting ahead of you. Mayor, Council, as the mayor was just talking about, we do give, every year we give recognition awards to our employees. I think these awards are pretty special, not only because it gives us the opportunity to recognize those employees that go above and beyond, but also it's a special award because it comes from nominations by their own peers. So throughout the year, we accept nominations from employees for all those categories that the mayor had mentioned. And then at the end of the year, we put together a committee, and that committee then goes through those nominations and actually selects the award winners. So it's my honor tonight to be able to recognize those winners. So as I go through, I'm going to actually read the nominations, or at least parts of the nominations that were received from these employees' peers. So. The first award tonight is the Team Player Award. This nomination, or the nominations this year actually included several. They included Craig Donaldson, Tyler Duvall, Elizabeth Gibson, Nate Hartzell, and Autumn Miller. So we actually had a lot of nominations for this award. And this year's Team Player Award actually goes to Tyler Duvall from the Police Department. And so I'm going to invite Tyler to come on up. All right, let me get back on track here. Tyler has been with the department for about a year. The first day he came to work for the city, he made it very clear how much he enjoys working here and is very proud to be a part of the team. Tyler's work ethic is commendable. He often volunteers for extra assignments, comes in during staff shortages, and is always willing to help out his fellow officers. He goes out of his way to be positive and engaging with everyone he meets. He's quick to greet you with a smile and ask how you're doing. He never complains, and more importantly, he has a positive effect on all those around him. When Tyler learned we were short-staffed in our janitorial position, he actually took the lead and suggested that his squad help keep the department clean by doing some janitorial work so the workload didn't fall on one individual. Another example of his selflessness personality was when he gave up his patrol vehicle assignment to a field training unit, knowing that they would be more comfortable in a larger vehicle, even though it meant he had to drive an older, less desirable vehicle. Tyler performs at a high level in a way that makes the organization better, the people around him better, and the community better, and this is what sets Tyler apart. So congratulations, Tyler. Yep. Thank you. All right. The next award is the Innovation Award. This award goes to an employee that finds innovative solutions to sometimes very complex problems. We look at things like innovative ways to improve processes, save employee time, save taxpayer dollars, and et cetera. This year, the Innovation Award goes to Damian Smith from the Street Department. I'm not sure if Damian made it tonight. Nope. Okay. Sorry. All right. In 2022, the Department of Transportation began to require all CDL applicants complete a certified written and driver's training course before testing or obtaining a valid CDL. This required training that would have cost the city anywhere from $300 to $500 per new employee. Damien researched this new requirement and found that someone within the city could assemble the criteria to become an actual CDL instructor. He successfully trained most, if not all, new employees over the past several years, and his students have a very high pass rate. Damien's also gone above and beyond and assisted other municipalities in developing their own CDL training programs. So again, congratulations to Damien Smith. All right. The next award is our Customer Service Award. The nominations this year for customer service included Elizabeth Gibson and Ashley Younger. This year's Customer Service Award goes to Elizabeth Gibson from the administration. I'm going to kind of skip around on Elizabeth because we actually received multiple nominations for Elizabeth, so it just tells you how great a job she's doing with customer service. So I'm going to read some snippets from several different nominations. So one nominator mentioned that she is the first face residents see when they enter City Hall. She greets each one and makes them feel welcome. She listens to them attentively and compassionately. She goes above and beyond to make new residents feel welcome and well, and will provide them even with maps of the city and any flyers or brochures we have available. She provides notary services without hesitation, and I've actually witnessed Elizabeth take her notary stamp and logbook to the parking lot to even accommodate elderly couples. She will sit at the table with citizens as they're filling out paperwork for business license and be there to answer any questions. And then they go on to mention Elizabeth is fun to work with and always extremely helpful. She never complains or talks badly about anyone. She's dependable, helpful, resourceful, and complies with all city policies. Another nominator mentioned that she's always ready to help anyone who asks. She jumps in and always helps with a smile on her face, and she's a joy to work with. Helping her isn't really in Elizabeth, I skipped ahead, let me back up. There was an elderly lady that came in and asked for Elizabeth and was actually very upset that Elizabeth wasn't here because she's always looking for Elizabeth to be able to talk to. She's always helping her and isn't really, even with things that aren't inside of Elizabeth's scope, but she goes out of her way to make sure she gets the information that she's looking for, even if it's just looking up a phone number for her. And then the last nomination mentioned several things, but I'll just skip toward the end. That Elizabeth is very, very public-facing and serves the public admirably in several departments within City Hall. So anyway, I know I skipped around, but there were several nominations for Elizabeth, so very well deserving. So congratulations. All right. And then the last award that we give is the Employee of the Year Award. And actually what happens is we take all the nominations throughout the year for all those different categories that we talked about. And then the committee actually sifts through all of them and selects one employee out of those nominations that they feel is deserving of the Employee of the Year Award. So this year, the Employee of the Year Award is given to Craig Donaldson. Craig has been employed with the city for 23 years. He's trained many of our current employees with the tenacity and dedication that radiates from his natural work ethic. He has held many job titles throughout his career. He started his path with Nixa at the police department as a dispatcher. He then moved on to utility billing as a meter reader and locator for 14 years. He is now with the electric department as a substation tech. Craig's first responsibility here at the City of Nixa is to ensure that our residents have continuous electrical services by maintaining Nixa substations, also keeping our line crew and contracted tree trimmers safe while working near electrical lines. Craig has been asked to fill in for the locator position, clearing out multiple tickets for excavations. He has also been asked to step in on our utility billing office when they have had an issue or questions about meters and/or routes. In some cases, our utility billing office was just simply short-staffed and needed extra help to keep up, and of course, Craig was open to stopping by and helping them get caught up. These tasks are asked upon him while maintaining his current role of substation tech. These are just a few things that came in mind when thinking of Craig's willingness to help out other departments or staff. And I have not noted the daily, weekly, or monthly small tasks that are asked of him. He is always quick to jump in where help is needed. And with that being said, and that's why Craig Donaldson is the the Employee of the Year. All right, and then I'll invite the mayor to come over and get a few pictures.
Good job, Tyler.
Congratulations again to all of you. We truly appreciate everyone in the city, but thanks for all your extra work. All right, moving on. First visitor section of the year.
Ron Sanders.
Good evening. I'm Ron Sanders. I live at 976 Glen Oaks Drive. And how many of y'all have already wrote 2023 on a document sometime this week, right? Yeah. It'll take a few weeks before everybody gets used to it. Speaking of getting used to it, I want everybody to imagine something. Just imagine that you were born right around 1955, 1956, and you grew up in East Germany, and you lived in East Germany your whole life under communist rule, and all of a sudden in 1991, as a full-grown adult, in your 40s, all of a sudden you become a part of a democratic country because the wall falls and Germany becomes one Germany again. And for the first time in your life, you get to participate in a democratic process that we call voting, right? Imagine how extraordinary it was in the 90s that millions of people, grown adults that had never experienced anything like that, had to figure something like that out. Every place across the world goes through a huge shift that we take for granted because, we just automatically go to the polls sometimes if we remember, right? Well, I'm here tonight as a representative of the Christian County Republican Central Committee to talk about voting. And this year, the presidential primaries will not be happening, at least not for the president. And we will be doing a caucus on March 2nd at the Ozark Junior High School. And if you want to attend, you can attend, and that's where our county will decide who our presidential nominee will be for the Republican Party. So it's something new. It's something that we haven't done very often. And I'm pretty sure everybody watching tonight and everybody, finding out about this, they're going to be like, what? I don't get to go to the polls and just vote for, whoever I want in the primaries? That's not how it works this year. They decided up at the legislature that we were going to do the caucus, and it will be decided on March 2nd at the county level. And then at the district level for the 7th district, it'll be in April. And then for the state, it'll be in May. And they will be caucuses, kind of like they've been doing in Iowa forever, but we get to try it for the first time. All the down ballots will still be normal. Everything will still happen as the primaries normally happen, but just not for the position of the President of the United States. So I just wanted to come and let everybody know that things will happen differently this year. It is kind of weird, but we are doing our best to try to make sure that at least the Republican Party is going to give everybody a chance to go through the caucus process. As a part of that, if you want to, you can go to the county clerk's office, and if you are a Republican, you can register on your voter ID card as Republican or Democrat or Independent, or if there's other parties that are available, you might be able to get that put on your voter registration card as well. It is moving, it is a shift towards having a partisan note on your ID card and everything. And I guess in the future, it may have something to do with how we vote in the future with possible closed primaries instead of open primaries. That's up to the legislature. That's not up to your local Republican or Democrat party. So, this weekend on Saturday, we do have a chili supper where I think all of the representatives for our area will be there, will be speaking. So if you go to our website, ccrccmo.com, you can buy tickets. Some of the famous people in the county will have pies to auction, and it'll be a good time. So all of y'all are invited. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. We have no other volunteers signed up, or visitors, not volunteers. If you would like to speak, feel free to do so. Just fill out a visitor's card and go from there. Not, I will close the visitor section. And moving on to our first readings, Council Bill 2024-01.
First reading Council Bill number 2024-01, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending the 2024 annual budget for the purpose of funding the installation of new sidewalk and street lighting improvements along Old Wilderness Road. Presenting is Assistant City Administrator and Public Works Director Doug Colvin.
Thank you, Becca. Good evening. This proposal, as Becca just mentioned, would be to amend two budgets, a little bit in the electric and the street department, for the construction of sidewalks on Old Wilderness Road, as well as some street lighting. In 2020, staff had approached City Council with an off-site sidewalk program or project that would build this particular sidewalk in conjunction with the Wasson Commercial District or Development Phase 2. What we would do, or what the plan was to build a sidewalk from the southern end of the Cox facility where the sidewalk stops all the way south along Old Wilderness Road and tie into the sidewalk at Mount Vernon or State Highway 14. We'd also do street lighting. At that time, we did a budget amendment to go ahead and get the design done, get started towards easements, which we did in late 2020 through the early part of 21. We got the design completed. We had got appraisals for right-of-way and temporary construction easements and started doing some of the negotiations. Some of them were very positive for the project. A couple were not. A few folks came to the next council meeting. Actually, they came to two after that and didn't want the project to happen. And so the project just kind of died right there. Staff ultimately was just asked to put it to the side. And so it's been laying at the side ever since until December 11th at the last meeting. So here we are. Just a quick overview of what we would need to do from here on out, and then which would be we would need to brush up a little bit on the plans. There's a little bit of ADA work, not a whole lot to do there, a little bit of surveying work for some staking. We'd also need to, if there's any different property owners, we're going to need to do a title search on those. We'll need to get new appraisals and then go out and negotiate for right-of-way. After that, once we obtain the right-of-way and the easements, then we could move on and start construction. Total estimated cost currently to finish out this project is $351,150. That's an estimate. That's an internal estimate with staff. We have estimated $316,500 to do the sidewalk, and then another $34,650 for the street lighting. So the bill that's in front of you this evening, staff will bring back for a second reading at the next meeting unless you have other direction for us. It would be to make those adjustments in the budget, in the 2024 budget of $316,500 in the street department and $34,650 in the electric department. And I'm here for any questions.
Any questions?
Is the sidewalk going to be on the west side or the east side?
It's on the west side.
Okay, because those people didn't like it last time.
Yeah, I realize that. The east side is very full with utilities,
Yeah.
underground electric, transformers, those kinds of things, and
Yeah.
it would shoot the price up quite a bit because we'd have to move a lot of utilities to do that.
Okay.
And the existing sidewalk at the north end is on the west side.
Any other questions? Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Colvin. And just to go back, and someone had reached out to members of the council about this, because this is the only thing that is keeping someone from walking from 14 to the hospital, which became a problem for the gentleman that reached out to us, which is actually something that I had said the last time when this was brought up, because I am in favor of this. I do feel like the houses on the east side do set back a little bit further. I looked at everything that would either need to be taken out or moved. I believe there's only a couple shrubs. I think there's one tree that would be close, but I think it's far enough back that wouldn't be that big of a deal. So So I personally believe this is a sidewalk that's needed in the city, but anywho, if no other questions, I will open up the public hearing. If you would like to speak on this matter, please do so. Nope. I will close the public hearing. All right, moving on to Council Bill 2024-02.
First reading Council Bill number 2024-02, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 5, Sections 2-40 and 2-43 for the purpose of establishing an appointments committee of the council and adopting procedures related thereto, presenting as City Attorney Nick Woodman.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. At the December 11th, 2023 regular city council meeting, Mayor gave a discussion of council on the prospect of establishing a city council committee to review appointments to the planning and zoning commission. At the conclusion of the discussion, the council directed city staff to present a proposed ordinance establishing such a committee. Council Bill 2024-02 is the result of staff's efforts. If approved, this bill would establish an appointments committee comprised of 3 members of the city council. This committee will be responsible for reviewing and making recommendations on mayoral appointments to the planning and zoning commission upon a written referral by the mayor. Once such a referral has been made, the committee will have 30 days to provide recommendations to the full council. You can then take up that appointment through the normal city charter process for that. Additionally, this bill modifies existing city code section 2-43 to add some additional provisions to our code section on how committees operate generally. These additional modifications include adding the mayor as an ex officio non-voting member of every council committee, providing for a process to appoint committee chairs, and providing a process to remove members of council committees. With that, staff recommends approval of the bill, and I'm happy to answer any questions that council may have on this item.
Anybody have any questions?
Just to clarify on that time frame, it's, we'll have up to 30 days. It doesn't necessarily have to go the full 30. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's to give the committee a reasonable amount of time to schedule a meeting, get everyone together, and provide a referral. But that can be accomplished faster than 30 days.
Okay.
Does this keep the same amount of people on planning and zoning as what we have now?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Woodman. No other questions. I will open up the public hearing if you would like to speak on this matter. All right, I will close the public hearing. Give Drew a second. Actually, that's a lot of reading.
Test 1, 2.
I was gonna say,
That one.
Test 1, 2.
All right, moving on. Council Bill 2024-03.
First reading Council Bill number 2024-03, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa calling an election to be held on April 2nd, 2024, to submit to the qualified voters the question of imposing an additional 3% sales tax on all tangible personal property retail sales of non-medical adult use marijuana, and authorizing the city clerk to do all things necessary and convenient to submit said question to the qualified voters of the city, and providing for enactment of said tax if approved, presenting as City Attorney Nick Woodman.
Good evening. All right, that one works. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. On November 8th, 2022, the qualified voters of the state of Missouri approved what was referred to as Constitutional Amendment 3, which legalized adult use marijuana in the state of Missouri. The city, you may all recall, has adopted a number of revised policies and code revisions because of the effect of Amendment 3, including changes to the zoning ordinance and modifications to the city's personnel code to try to deal with some of the provisions contained within Amendment 3. In addition to some of these changes, Amendment 3 also authorizes cities to impose an additional 3% tax on non-medical adult use marijuana sales. This tax is in addition to other sales taxes imposed by the city. In order to levy the additional tax, the qualified voters of the city are required to approve the levy at an election. If approved, Council Bill 2024-03 would place the question of whether to impose the additional 3% sales tax on the April 2nd, 2024 general municipal election ballot. Additionally, if approved by the voters, the bill would provide the implementation for the tax. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have regarding this bill.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Woodman. If there are no other questions, I will open up the public hearing if you would like to speak on this bill. All right, we'll close the public hearing. Now, moving on to second reading of ordinances, Council Bill 2023-54.
Second reading Council Bill number 2023-54, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa declaring the necessity of acquiring by condemnation certain property rights over, under, and through certain real estate for the purpose of construction and maintaining the West Regional Collection System, and authorizing certain city officials to do all things necessary or convenient to carry out the terms and intent of this ordinance. Presenting is Assistant Public Works Director Travis Cossey.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. At the December 11th meeting, staff introduced this ordinance authorizing the use of condemnation to accomplish the construction of a new regional lift station on the southwest portion of town. If you'll recall, as a recap of that discussion, approximately 18 months ago, we began the design work necessary for what is to be our third regional collection system for the city of Nixa. This was born out of a 2016 wastewater master plan to provide additional wastewater services to the south and west portions of the community, as well as alleviate some concerns and issues that we are having with an existing lift station in the Oakmont Heights subdivision. Following that preliminary design for the location of the lift station, staff did begin negotiations and acquisition of easements necessary for the construction of that lift station in February of last year. At this point, we have obtained a majority of the easements necessary to move forward with the project. Unfortunately, we have 3 individuals that we have been unable to successfully negotiate with and are asking for your authorization to move forward with condemnation to ensure that this project is able to move forward and stay on the timeline that we've established for its establishment and construction.
Any questions?
No?
Thank you,
All right,
Mr.
thank you.
Cossey. All right, if there's no other questions, I will open up the public hearing on this.
Yeah, Ron Sanders. When condemning somebody's property, whether it's just a little piece or anything big, and they're balking at it, it'd probably be good to hear in public why those particular people, are breaking down in negotiations before we move forward with condemnation or with takings and everything. I know during these processes, sometimes people see, money signs in their eyes, but sometimes, there may be other reasons. And taking someone's property, when the government takes your property, it's quite a traumatic thing for everyone involved. After all, it is, just basically using government force to take somebody's stuff. So I'd be curious as to why people wouldn't want to, for something like this, why wouldn't they want to, follow through or help the city, by negotiating and, voluntarily going through the process and everything?
That's a good question, Mr. Sanders. And on these 3 properties, so we get an appraisal done and we offer them the appraised value. A lot of these is just putting the pipe underground, covering it up, and then you never see it again. Usually one spot is going to be for the actual lift station, which will obviously have something that remains there. And these started out with the appraised value, and usually in the beginning, we'll offer the appraised value plus 10%. That's usually what they're allowed to go with on negotiations. And when you have, a pipe that's going to be put underground and you're offered, well, still out of ballpark, you're offered $5,000 for it, and you come back with $350,000, we can't justify spending taxpayers' money that much to make that happen. So, to make this and to be able to provide services to landowners that have land that can't do anything with it right now because we can't add a single toilet on the west side of town, it's unfair to those landowners for not being able to develop or build their own house on it. And this is, I don't see it as taking, because we just use it for a very small amount of time, put it back the way it was, and then move on. So I do believe that in situations like this, they still get paid for it, regardless if it goes, it goes to court. The only downfall of it going to court is they will get paid the actual appraised value, not any additional that we had offered in negotiations. So hopefully that explains your concern. And thank you for the question. If anyone else would like to speak on this, please do so at this time. All right, I will close the public hearing. Anything else from council? Anything else from staff? If none, I will accept a motion.
I'll make the motion. Second.
First by Mr. Ogden, a second by Mr. Lucas. Roll call, please.
Matt Ogden,
Yes.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Darlene Graham,
Yes.
Zern Vest,
Yes.
Kelly Morris.
Yes.
6 votes, bill passes. All right. Moving on to Resolution 2024-01.
Resolution number 2024-01, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with Axon Enterprises Incorporated for services related to the police department's digital evidence library and in-car camera video and distribution systems. Presenting is Police Chief Joe Campbell.
Mayor, Council, back in July of last year, we received notification that our software that we use for our department's digital evidence, our in-car camera system videos, and the system that we use to process those and send them to the Christian County Prosecutor's Office was being discontinued, and we needed to upgrade. As a result of that, we did an evaluation process to determine the optimal path for the police department in dealing with this issue with digital evidence and the in-car camera systems themselves. Through an examination of this, we decided that we should look at other options rather than just merely taking the manufacturer's suggested upgrades and the costs that were associated with those. So we looked at several different vendors and determined that that wasn't the most cost-effective way to move forward. As a result of this process, we decided to go with an Axon video system or video as a service for the car cameras and the evidence library software. And so we developed that into a capital improvement project, which we included in the 2024 budget. And that budget was approved for $352,512. With a first-year payment of $65,083. To get this project started, we have to go into a contract with them for the service to lock in the quoted price with them, and that's what you have in front of you tonight. Now, as you know, Axon is a participant of a national cooperative, so we can use that purchasing agreement, and we do not have to go through the formalized bid procedure in accordance with the city policy because they are in that purchasing cooperative. And of course, it's the police department and city administration's recommendation that we move into this agreement with Axon for video as a service. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
So I think everyone knows that I'm hesitant anytime there's a contract that extends past my term. However, this is a little different with me because it's an actual product, and it's something that can also be used as evidence in court. But so just curious on and I read through the Exhibit A and the quote, and was trying to find something that states anything about the vast service agreement, and it's 5 years. What's the extension after 5 years? You know, what does that look like? Is it the same amount, the same cost, or will we be back at square one and looking at buying a new?
Well, I think the intention for the company is to negotiate that contract and that price every 5 years, and that's why they have a 5-year term on that. It also kind of ties in with the longevity of the equipment as well, and so everything has an expiration date these days, and so I think they look at the technology and say, oh, about 5 years is a lifespan for technology as it stands, and so that's why you're seeing a 5-year agreement. At the end of the 5 years, yes, we're going to have to do some negotiations, but I don't see that as any different than any other product that you get involved with. You kind of get in bed with them, and then you at some point you're either forced to move forward with that product because you're heavily invested, or you have to shift gears and make a change like we're doing here tonight when we go in with Axon.
Okay.
And so I can't tell you that in 5 years we'll be using Axon. I can tell you that for the next 5 years we want to use Axon.
Gotcha. And then do you know the difference? On a lot of things I saw standard warranty and then extended warranty on different line items. What's the extended warranty that we're buying?
Yeah, so the idea was that there'd be a certain amount of warranty on the actual product themselves. So it is a service, and then if there are other things that are associated with the car cameras, so you have the microphones and things of that nature. So there are other pieces of hardware, and you can get differing amounts of warranty on that. So if you're buying an extended warranty on that particular piece of equipment, then you're able to keep that from incurring the bench fees and things like that whenever the smaller things that aren't covered as a service. So it's kind of parceled out like that. The car camera systems themselves are within that, but there are things like the wireless microphones and other things that you would want to purchase that extended warranty on so that you're not having to replace those or repair them.
And does the replacement, or didn't you mention something a while back about either temporary parts or something that you can use while they're working on? So say he breaks his microphone today.
Yeah,
We'll have
that's another
something to get 'em
benefit
through.
with them. They're going to get that product back up and running, because if you're as a service, they're replacing that or giving you something to use while they're repairing that particular system. Car camera systems, unfortunately, we're in a situation in this day and age, whenever your car camera is down, it really takes the entire car out of service to some degree, because we rely so heavily on that recorded evidence for so many things. It makes it really difficult to utilize the car itself whenever you don't have a car camera system. So you want to keep those things up and running as much as possible.
And I didn't see in the contract that I read, it didn't state the downtime of the patrol unit while it was getting this new system installed. Did they talk to you about that? Like, how long will it be out of service?
We haven't really gotten into that yet. We're going to be running 2 systems for a while, and so how I anticipated rolling out as we move forward, obviously getting the contract, step one, but as we start bringing our cars in and training officers on how to use it, we'll be doing that kind of incrementally. So we'll be using both systems for a while until we can wean off the older system, and it'll just go out of date eventually.
Okay. What's the difference in basic license and pro license?
I don't know.
I was just going to keep asking questions until you said I didn't know.
I would have to defer to probably Lieutenant Whitehill on that.
Everything else on the agenda tonight, I've already asked all the questions beforehand, so I just figured I'd throw some stuff at you and see what happens. Thank you for being so knowledgeable in this system.
And knowing when to say, I don't know.
Yeah. Because you could have said something, I wouldn't have known if you were right or not on that. Anyone else have any questions?
I do. As our staff increases over the next 5 years, I'm assuming it will increase over the next 5 years. That'll probably increase our fleet as well. Will additional cameras and stuff like that is that included in this? Will those be covered, or is that additional cost?
No, so what we've done, since we're leasing the vehicles, and when we have those project builds on those cars, we're bundling all those costs into that particular cost of the vehicle. So as we increase the fleet, all the things that are associated with the car are also increasing. So you'll see these costs for additional car camera systems, but they're going to be built into the numbers of in the lease itself.
Okay.
And so that's how it will grow along with the fleet.
Now, the main system doesn't have a limit to how many licenses can be added to it, does it?
No, it's just, once you have it, it's cloud-based now, which is new for us.
Hold as
We
many
were using a
licenses needed.
service, and now we're going to go to a cloud, and we won't fill it up, if that's the question. So, and we're not going to be limited to a certain number that we can use with this particular system.
Cool. Any other questions? Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
No other questions. I will open up the public hearing. If you would like to speak on this resolution. All right, I will close the public hearing. Anything else from council? All right, I will accept a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
First by Ms. Graham, second by Mr. Lucas. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Okay. Before we leave, I wanted to go back to the committee, and we need the committee for planning and zoning. Right now, I believe we have either 6 or 7 applicants to fill the vacant planning and zoning seat. So what I had discussed kind of at the last meeting is it'd be nice to have a representative from each district on this committee. I do think it would be beneficial to have the, if possible, either the police liaison or someone who's involved. I know Darlene and Sean both are involved with all sorts of things with development, but I'd really like for Sean to be on this committee if he has the time and would be willing to do so. And then I would need someone from District 1. So I don't know if you guys want to arm wrestle or whatever.
It don't matter to me. I can do it, or you can do it, either one.
You can take this, if you can take this one.
Zern's
Okay.
very involved too.
Okay, so we got Sean and Mr. Ogden. That leaves the last one.
Yeah,
You want to try it?
yeah.
Okay.
Unless, Darlene, do you absolutely, okay. I don't want to take your thunder.
Yeah, true. Okay. So we got Mr. Lucas, Mr. Ogden, and Mrs. Morris. So you can have that for the next meeting. All right, is there anything else from council?
Sorry, the city administrator wanted us to remind everybody that we are closed for Martin Luther King on the 15th. And that if you have plans on attending February city council meeting, keep an eye on the calendar because both those dates have been moved to make sure that we have good attendance because of some other meetings that city councilmen have to go to for the city.
Yes. I don't know if those, have they been updated on the city calendar yet?
So the calendar's been updated, and I'll piggyback off Officer. The first meeting in February has been moved from the 12th to the 6th. The second meeting has been moved from the 22nd to the 19th, both at 7.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else from staff?
Yeah, I've asked Matt to provide council with an update on the pool.
The pool.
It's a good day to
So-
talk about the pool.
Yeah, I know.
It's a
So
little wet
I had
outside.
really hoped to be bringing you the plans and bid documents and things for council's approval tonight. However, our engineer has missed that deadline and needed an extension in timing in order to get us the plans for that. So a little disappointing there. Trust me, they felt my displeasure with that. I'm very concerned in the timing of getting this project done and getting it started so that it is done on time. They have assured me that they will have the documents to me by the 16th, which is a week from tomorrow, in which we will bring you the resolution to get this bid on the 22nd, at the 22nd council meeting. And so I'm excited to show you the plans and kind of talk you through what the project itself. The engineer believes that it's somewhere around an 8-week project, which means we still have plenty of time. I'm still concerned that it seems bigger than that to me, but I also don't bust concrete and replace piping and all of that fun stuff. But I wanted to give you that update as this is a little slower than what we had anticipated and had presented to you when we brought this engineer forward as the best engineer to go with. And so, yes, it's coming. Sorry it's not here yet, but we are really putting that heat on that engineer to get this project finished so that we can get this out there. You guys have any questions for me?
I'll just piggyback on what Matt said, because I think that it's important to understand that how complex of an issue that we're dealing with the pool. I mean, on the face value, we think it's a pool and it should be easily fixed, but it's a very complex issue. The circulation lines, they are very complex. We were looking at having to dig the entire pool, figure out how to make it stable and not shift, or you bust all your pipes. So I'll give kudos to the engineer. Although they've taken longer than we hoped, they have done a really good job with providing some solutions that I think are going to be very viable, and it's actually going to help us mitigate the possibility of further damages.
I think further damages in, honestly,
Cost.
time and more possibilities of damage or things to the pool basin itself. And so that protection of that basin is the most important part of this project. And so, yes, I'm very excited. They have some really great solutions, things that we hadn't thought of, which we're not pool engineers, right? But I think it's going to be a way to really bring our pool up and get everything moving in a direction so that it's good to go for the next 25 plus years. And so, you know, it's going to be a new start for the pool, which will be great.
Great.
And as a teaser, we'll bring you some new ideas for the pool too.
I like the new ideas. Perfect. Anything else from staff? All right. Well, thank you all very much. Meeting adjourned.